Morning,
David Mintz, my Mincy,
Simon Whale, captain, my captain. How are you?
I'm all right. Are we going to get the Are we going to get the elephant in the room out of the way? You've been a naughty boy, haven't you? You've been a little bit deceitful, if you don't mind me saying.
Oh, I only lied to myself, nobody else.
What? Look, you've got to get over this Matt Nicol thing.
I'm not going to get over the Matt Nicol thing. It's just, what do you expect me to believe? It's a coincidence that you bump into him 4 times in 1 week on your many webinars and supplier showcases and podcasts, you name it, panels. Do you do all the panels together? Do you do all that ICG stuff? And
well, I've got a surprise for you, Vincy. So live here today on the show, Matt Nicol. Of course, I'd never do that to you. Of course, I'd never do that. That's like inviting him over and not even changing the sheets.
Is it true you're split? No, mommy and daddy still love each other. They just have musical differences. All right. We're allowed to see other people, Graham.
That's right, exactly right, and I know why Graham would be concerned.
Simon, so last night I do some community. No, it's not a podcast. We do some nonsense on a Sunday night where we debate major philosophical questions. Yeah, anyway, last night I presided over 40 minutes of a guy that just could not get a stable internet connection. But we didn't decide to abandon ship. He just moved. So you had this guy, he started it in his office, then he moved to his car, he drove home, and he switched computers 4 times during this interview.
This is seamless.
And it was a catalogue of shite.
I bet you didn't say that at the time, though, did you?
I did so well. 40 minutes of that nonsense, and I didn't even mention the C word once.
How long did we last on stage at Agents Giving? It wasn't that long, was it? It seemed like other people. 14
minutes, 38 seconds.
Okay, that's well done. You got staying power. I've always said that about you.
Thank you. You're off on holiday today, you're not?
Don't get into the whole
thing. You're allowed. No, it's perfectly. I've checked the rules, and even though you are in the containment zone, or contagion zone, you're allowed to go on holiday as long as you don't spread it to other people.
That's exactly right, and I am camping, and I don't just mean me doing my normal woohoo, hello, it's Simon Whale here. No, we're camping over in York, so anyone in that neck of the woods should worry. Almost towards Hull, actually, which is so this week could be described as to Hull and back. Obviously, the famous
Hull, the Riviera of the North.
Yeah, I believe actually Graham Wilson, our fan, is not too far from there. So I know he's been determined to see George for some time. So I might see if he wants some daddy daycare.
Is he George's real father?
Well, that would be tremendously helpful. I can't tell you now. Yeah. At what point do you say enough?
By the way, George, if you're watching this on the iPad, just come in and hit Dad again, because that was fun.
Don't encourage him. He was there even just pleased the other day. I liked it when you were on the other day. To be fair, though, at least it's a like, and we'll take anything, won't we?
Do you mind if I say that you're looking rather thin? Or thinner?
Do you know what? This shouldn't be a sort of podcast reach around, because that's a horrible image. But I was looking when I was sat crying, and I thought how actually you had lost loads of weight. So do you think we're good for each other? Do you think this is like a digital wasting disease? Or do you think we're getting fooled because actually we've got it on the smaller image rather than this image? And it all changes when we go back to this. See, we're Porky again now. That's how it works. Close, far away. Close.
Far away. Go back far away.
Okay, go back there.
Oh, that's better. Right.
Can I just show my one digital image?
Go for it.
Okay, so whilst we were this came to mind the other day whilst we heard that our glorious leader, what did they say in Game of Thrones? Punish the North, control the South. They've got that. So anyway, you didn't ask me how I was this morning, and so obviously I've been on a bender, figuratively speaking. Went to 36 pubs all weekends, but wasn't allowed to see my mother and father. So that was quite weird.
Shame. Well, listen, Mike or Elaine Whale, if you are watching this right now, please contact me. I'd love to get you on the show, particularly Elaine. I'd love to discuss a little bit of politics with you and your son. He'd be so proud to have you here, wouldn't you, Simon?
That's not happening, David. That really isn't happening. I am Teflon in many ways, but hearing Mumar and Mupar talk about my youth is not going to happen.
Yeah, Elaine, get in touch. Don't listen to him. I'm just going to pop my number on the screen right now.
Oh, great. That won't be overused by other people. Oh, and you got it spelled wrong now.
Oh, damn it.
Sorry. That's the name. I'll go back to the weekend.
Simon, I did something yesterday morning. I trolled the EA podcast.
What? The what?
The estate agent.
I haven't heard of it. No, what is it? Is it a new podcast?
It's like a publicity vehicle for Stephen Brown, and he hangs out with this guy that's been on furlough for about 6 years, and Luke Sinclair. And yesterday they were joined by none other than friend of the show. I thought he was a friend of the show, Jerry Lyons.
Yeah, well, that's very true, isn't it? We're going to have little words with our Jerry about that. I don't know if he has read the small print of our non-existent
NDA, non-sharing agreement. We do not share guests with other podcasts. We just don't. So now you belong to the EA podcast, Jerry. Be gone.
Yeah, it's like Conkers. Now he's a 42er.
Reluctantly, even though he is slightly more expensive, Chris Watkins is now our PR expert.
Big fan of Mr. Watkins. He excelled himself yesterday. I think it's clear to say. Well, I think he excels himself every day. But yes, he's.
Yes. Is it just me, or is he posting a lot more now? He's got this slightly sort of. He's got a way with him, hasn't he? Of as an agent, anyway. If any agents are actually listening, he's got that way of sort of constantly telling you, "You're a bit shit, really, aren't you? Get your act together. Call Uncle Chris. It's all gonna be all right. Stop bragging about how big your willy is. No one's interested." But that's not true, is it, Simon?
No, it's not.
Because we all know the one way to show your affection and appreciation for somebody is to send them a dick pic.
We're not going to start doing that live, are we? That's even here in the summer. It's quite cold in the morning in Didsbury.
We don't have the 4K technology for that. Anyway, I was on the EA podcast. Not as a guest, obviously, because they won't have me on the show because they don't have quality guests. But they had Jerry Lyons on, and I was watching it yesterday. And you know, Luke Sinclair does that thing, or when he was on our show, where we thought he was being slightly disrespectful because he was just zoning out, like you're doing now, not making eye contact.
Sharing my friend, sharing the show needs to be done.
So when that happened, good morning, Peter Lawrence. How are you, sir? As the man from Ruislip.
Were you expecting him to respond then? Oh, that's how it works, actually, isn't it? It does work like that. They caught me with a bit of linkage catnip. So I saw, obviously, our name on there. popped on, and yeah, it was actually a very good show. I do get very worried about Luke St. Clair though driving, because at the moment, you know, he's got all the kit.
He's like Boris Johnson. He's got a driver.
He's got a driver. Okay.
He's got a driver. Yeah. Yeah, no. And apparently
on the video I saw, it was directly coming from his what do you call it? Driving point.
Driving point. No, honestly, he's got a young I don't know, he used to have this young man that used to sort of drive around with him.
There's a bit of tittle tattle right off the cuff.
I don't know if it got on his cuff or on the whole of the shirt, but you know, it needs cleaning, whatever. Simon, we've got some fantastic news today.
Yes, go on. We're out of lockdown.
No, we're back into lockdown, you fool. Okay. Certainly for Manchester, we are. What does it actually mean? It's not actual lockdown, is it? It just means you can't see your mum.
The advice is still the same, isn't it, from Propertymark and government? Or actually, I haven't checked. Did they sneak something out at 11:59 last night? Like you're not allowed outdoors.
Breaking news. We've rather thought that some of you should stay indoors.
Yeah.
And that's effective in 2 hours' time.
So how is it going to affect? How's it affecting you from a business point of view? You're still able to do everything you were before, weren't you?
I've got to say that Luke Sinclair was helpful on that, because he, you know, the guys that in Leicester have been through this for a lot longer than most of us. And as ever, the one thing that's more damaging than anything else is the fact that there is no clear guidance on anything. Right. And no clear information. We were told by a local MP, actually, who copied and pasted the advice that wrongly from somebody somewhere, some Karen on Facebook. But he had told us that.
Wait a minute. Nothing wrong with cut and paste. It's how I passed my degree.
I think there's nothing wrong with cut and paste. It's just there's something wrong with Karen.
Okay.
If you're an elected official, you might want to get your line from your boss, rather than just some random on Facebook. We were told actually we're okay to go to work as long as we're taking the same precautions. We can carry on doing viewings, valuations. So really, our job on Thursday, Friday was just to sort of tell people, look, it's business as normal. Come out and get infected.
It is good to see that the government are taking control of it, because of course, you know, for Hancock to be able to stand up there and, you know, and quite rightly, if we need the tough news telling us it was down to us breaking the social distancing, meeting up with our loved ones in the gardens, and that's definitely where the disease came from. I want to stress, it's not from the restaurants, the pubs, the shops that are
absolutely not,
and are now paying some of our taxes. It's definitely not those things. It is the free things that are causing the disease. So the track and trace thing, which I must admit had been cancelled, the world-class tracking system. So obviously the government's got some sort of statistics and science that we're just not aware of.
Well, today famously marks the start of Eat Out to Help Out. Are you going to be helping out?
Of course I am. Yes, I have. You spoke about the weight. I have ballooned a little bit recently because I have been again trying to keep the economy going a little bit more. So that's a good. I was looking at actually one of my favourites, Hawksmoor in town, and they were doing a 30 quid lunch. Obviously, where we met as well, David. They were doing a 30 quid lunch. They were taking 10 quid off, and then you could use that voucher as well. So a slap up lunch.
Smackhead's lunch.
Get a spice, like we like that in Manchester, and all for 10 quid. Incredible. So yeah,
that's good value.
It's not going to help. Do you think it's going to help the high street?
I think they need to. I think Monday to Wednesday anyway. Those are the days where restaurants traditionally struggle for a crowd in any event.
It's not the weekend, is it? Yeah, it's not the weekends, and you see most places, but then it's just it's just an empty world, an empty wasteland the rest of the week, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think it's the right thing in the long run. I mean, I really fancy the idea of a government that's not afraid to issue a voucher to every man, woman, and child in the country whenever things get tough. So,
exactly. Especially whilst also saying, again, for them, their mixed messages, obviously we're fighting obesity. Eat out for 10 quid, you fuckers.
it's interesting, though. I've been speaking to a couple of people that work in the hospitality industry to ask them how they have, do they welcome this? And they do, but let's just put it this way. They do, but there's no room for any massaging of the financials there, because you're going to have to declare all of that to the government to get your pay.
And of course, we should be endorsing the right level of tax declaration.
The hospitality industry is rife with it, my friend. It is the last bastion of cash businesses, which of course you can't pay with anymore.
Did you say bastion or bastion?
I don't know, actually. I think I said bastion.
I think you said bastion, which again is some weird...
which is half bestiality and half bastion.
Look, that's where my mind went straight away. So yeah, one interesting thing I saw in the newspapers yesterday was just at the time that they were talking about, again, famously Apple is the first £1 trillion company. I think maybe Tesla have also done it, but they've approached all of their UK retail sites for a 50% reduction from their landlords. So it's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive.
They're just helping out. They're just a regular guy. We're all in this together.
We're
all in this together. And I'm sure what they've done is they've increased the pay of those Chinese kids that build all their products in the factories in Wuhan by at least 50% to compensate.
Totally out of order, David. We are rescinding that. We are not having that there. It's across all Asia. Anyone with little hands in Asia, they're quite happy to pay them.
We got remarkably racist there for a moment.
Casual racism is not. There's nothing wrong with casual racism in this day and age. I believe that's true.
Let us talk about some UK property news, if you will. This morning, headlines released: new exec charged with making Agency UK's largest premium brand, and this is a friend of the show. A new director has been appointed at Fine & Country, charged with achieving the corporate goal of becoming the largest premium estate agency in the UK. Jonathan Handford, described by the company as Simon Wales' friend, an experienced international speaker, coach, trainer, and estate agent, is currently managing director of the brand's Leamington Spa branch, but now joins the top table. I'm hoping to bring my experience from the coalface to assist new. Can we stop using the word coalface, guys? It's too close to blackface, and that is a no-no. All right, it's just a no-no.
Well, that's a leap. That's a real leap. What do they call it? Is it whitewashing or blackwash? No, even whitewashing, isn't it? Even whitewashing has a negative connotation now. If you're going to go down that whole colour, overreaction route. Let's stop this. We genuinely sound like half of my family who are arguing, political correctness gone mad. I'm not doing it.
It sounds like Alf Garner. Anyway, great news for Jonathan, because he is genuinely one of the nicest guys you could ever hope to meet. Yeah. And for a quiet, sort of reserved man, he's tremendously driven, and I think he's probably gonna take them to great places.
He's a working man, Steve Merchant, but he is absolutely fantastic. He's a fantastic fella, a nice human being, and genuinely a all-round excellent estate agent. So they know their stuff over there. So hats off to them, and yeah, good to see positive stuff happening.
So a couple of comments coming in here. Louise Jeffries wants to tell us all that Pink is safe. Thank you.
Is she responding to having a great weekend, or is it?
I have no idea. Let's not ask.
Thanks, Louise.
Peter Lawrence, he is a top man. No, he truly is. So that is some good news for the people at Fine and Country. And it's one of those brands that has sort of stuck to its premium tag.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that lose their way in that marketplace, either by trying to use it to differentiate from a sort of a regular brand. So you have like a sort of a standard and a premium service running side by side. But this is actually don't ask. There you go.
Don't ask, don't tell. Famously, the US military and Kerfuffle will adopt that from now on.
So, some other news. Purple Bricks is delaying changes to their fee structure until the autumn.
This were they trying to raise their pricing, or
I think they were going to change the way that fees were payable. So at the moment, fees are paid up front, aren't they, on the whole? And even if you don't pay your fees up front and you choose to defer them till later, all it is a craftily worded credit agreement. I think, I don't know, allegedly, I want to say allegedly, because they've got big purple lawyers.
Bigger than the pink ones. Again,
no.
Half an hour now, aren't we?
So if you had to sue somebody like Big Style, which Magic Circle law firm would you go to?
One of your friends, David, obviously, because I like to keep it connected. It was your friend we went and saw in town. He's lovely. Can I use him?
Who? Oh, Benji. Yeah, no, he's too lovely, you see. You need somebody that's going to be an absolute Rottweiler.
I suspect that Graham Wilson does it on the side. He does so many different things. So I'd just defer to him. He's now my financial director and solicitor. So I'd probably go with Graham. If it is literally phone a friend, which ironically I usually do need with British Transport Police at least once a year.
I'm looking at a little bit of property industry stuff as well. And again, they're choosing to lead with the Rightmove story. In the week that Rightmove is due to announce its interim results, Rob Sargent, the leader of the Say No to Rightmove campaign, calls on the portal to use the occasion to also announce more help for agents. Over the last couple of weeks, a growing number of our Say No to Rightmove supporters have reached out and shared their frustration, the lack of any longer-term mission statement from Rightmove or their board. And we're just going to park that news there and go straight into the other bit of news, which is portal related, but again, no massive surprise. Redundancy consultations are taking place on the market.
Yeah. So, that's on the back of ZPG saying the same, isn't it? So Zoopla announced a whole load of those there. So I don't know what's the story we take from this. Is that everybody's hurting? Everybody hurts, like the REM song.
It's that the agents in this industry will not be happy until Rightmove starts lining up their reps and shooting them one by one.
Oh, that's a bit. Well, yes. Yeah, so is that harsh? I don't know. It was a well crafted email, wasn't it? It was from Rob, I believe. There was a meeting of the clans the other day, and your friend Murray and everyone got together again and had to catch up. I tell you what did jump out at me, that story. I don't know if I'd missed it. The subscriber stats were, I must admit, far lower than I thought they were. I don't know if I've seen them publicly before. Was it? Yeah, have you got it open there at the moment?
I've got it open now. Let's just have a quick look.
Yeah, obviously there has been, some people going out of business. There's been some, obviously, who have clearly said enough's enough. And I think they're down to about 16,500 subscribers, which,
here we go. In the 18 months from June 2018 to December 2019, so that's without COVID, Rightmove's agent office numbers fell 1,238 to 16,347. That's agent offices and new home developments.
Yeah, so obviously I'm a voyeur to this whole industry, but you're living in it. Well, did you know that those were the figures? Did you, or did they surprise you as well?
I don't know why, but I'd always assumed that more people were on it, and I always assumed that there was roughly sort of 20,000 branches.
Yeah, it come down below 19,000, but genuinely, that's the first time I've seen those sorts of figures.
Good morning. Good morning or good evening, Mr. Hutchins.
Oh, he's there. Now there's a man who's in proper lockdown. You know, like what's his name? The comedian who says we're out. He's in.
He's in.
He's
in. And then they were bragging initially, weren't they? That they seemed to be sort of
we dodged
in their stride.
We dodged the whale bullet. You came over here. You didn't manage to spread it, so we're okay, Jack. And now you see it just takes a little bit longer. Also, Hutch did famously say, let us out. And this is what happens when you let them out. We can't be trusted, Hutch. People like us can't be trusted because we spread disease.
If you had to put money on it, would you say that Hutch is an anti-masker?
I would, yes, I would. If he's not walking around town half buck naked at the moment, saying I will not be we masked, then I'll be surprised.
Darren Hutchins, I'm going to tell you exactly what I think. I don't. My opinion of the portals has changed because I've got no sympathy for on the market firing their employees because I don't think they've done enough to stay relevant. To stay. Well, no, not harsh. They are sat on the sidelines watching Zoopla and Rightmove chuck money at each other to try and keep things going, which I understand. That's their prerogative.
Hang on a minute. Sat on the sidelines worked well for the Americans in the Second World War.
That's harsh. But there are times when you do get a marauding bunch of Japanese aeroplanes coming over into Pearl Harbor, and
actually, just as an aside, have you watched that film? It is the greatest war film bar none. Tora Tora Tora, the launch sign of the Japanese. It means attack. Absolutely fantastic. I don't know how we got to that, but anyway, do you know the famous quote, which I genuinely thought was that bullshit Pearl Harbor thing, which was, well, I fear we have woken a sleeping giant. You've heard that phrase about the American. Did you know that was actually true? I didn't know it. I won't bother trying again.
Well, the Americans are actual giants, and they were asleep.
Well, there's certainly a giant in the. You're not getting me pissed off, David. We are now in the last 100 days of Trump presidency. As a liberal, I like to build myself up. Even
you know what? I have to tell you, though I've always been a skeptic, and I've always said to you that I think he's got a chance of getting back in. I think that his epic handling of Corona will probably be his undoing, because you cannot preside over such a fucking mess and still make it through the other side of it.
No, but I have heard on the inside that as they wanted someone from outside of industry, he's applying for the presidency at Propertymark.
I had heard that he was also number one speaker at Sanjfest 6.
I'd go. Well, genuinely, Arek, famously the Australian show, had him on. They didn't have him in the room, but it was one of the first times that Trump was on the big screen. Was some years before he became president.
There is there's a well-known sports channel, I think is the word I'd use for it, but they're a media company called Barstool Sports in America, and it's very sort of frat house, sort of Boise. It's it's a little bit Swimsuit Illustrated mixed with a bit of sports, mixed with a bit of humor. And
you mean Andy Overman's its target audience?
Completely. This is Overman territory. But the CEO is a guy called David Portnoy, and I only watch it because he does reviews of pizza shops. And I love watching other people eat pizza.
Yeah, not normally with your hands down your pants, though. That's the weird bit.
I don't. It depends how greasy the pizza is. Anyway,
you've done two things there, though, David. First of all, we've just mentioned pizza down the pants. Secondly, that TV show sounds remarkably like the Ocho, which I was watching Dodgeball again last night. Of course, is the TV show that shows all of those marginal sports.
Well, there you go. So he went to the White House and he interviewed the president, and it was a very low. It wasn't particularly highbrow, and it wasn't challenging in any way. In fact, it could be described as a little bit sycophantic. Yeah. And he took the view of, instead of pissing him off by challenging him on anything, he just basically, they found common ground and he complimented him. Now, given that this is a property show, and Donald Trump made his name in property,
the part of the game.
If you think you can behave yourself, I will write to him today, because he's going to take my. He's going to read my tweet, isn't he?
He's a sucker for somebody posh like you.
Exactly, and if you could like be polite to him, I'd get him on the show.
Okay, that's good. So let's get my Trump section out of the way. So there's a top 8 things he's done in the last week. We can't do most of them. We haven't got time. Obviously, he wants to delay the election. I've said before, there's going to be blood in the streets. He's going to refuse to give up, and he's already making sounds about that because people aren't going to be attending the election polling centres. It's going to be done by post. That's what he's going to say. He's already putting it out there that the Democrats are cheating. So watch this space. Civil war in the largest country. Secondly, he did Kodak. You'll remember them as a photography company. Their share price took a massive spike this week when he announced that he was handing over 759 million of them, cold hard cash to Kodak, to help with the coronavirus. So again, I think he's a little bit concerned. And
hang on, what does Kodak actually do nowadays?
I think they have retrenched in terms of digital, haven't they? So
I'm going to Google that right now.
You can do that. But then at best, and again, this was always going to take number 1 spot. He said this week, he said a doctor who believes in demon sperm was very impressive. Now, this doctor, she said, there's a number of things here. She believes that, there is an Illuminati, that a lot of Americans are lizards. But she said this in 2013. She also said that women can become impregnated by demon sperm. They turn into a woman, and then they sleep with the man and collect his sperm. Then they turn into the man, and they sleep with a man and deposit the sperm and reproduce more with themselves. So, again, I don't know what the point was here, but again, if we can get
entirely scientific correct, that whole episode happened to me at least 3 times.
Over the weekend. What a weekend, though. What a weekend.
Great weekend. I love it when the demon women break in and steal my sperms.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
You skip past this, but our friend Comrade McGee, it's like Hydra in the Avengers, friends of Kerfuffle in places of influence, ready for the takeover. I guess you hid this one because we don't want people knowing about that's our modus operandi. So obviously that's John Hanford, ready to make the leap for power.
Talking about the leap for power, we are actually talking about your race for presidency of Propertymark, and I know you've made light of this. But they've very clearly earmarked you for president, and the endorsement has come direct from the organization itself, who've said that they don't want somebody who is an estate agent. Now, you have famously described yourself as somebody who is not an estate agent, doesn't know anything about property or estate agents.
Or anything,
Or anything.
Yes, I mean, it's just made for me. I think there was a number of things: dynamic, commercial, tick, communicable. Well, according to the government, we're all communicable in Manchester at the moment. So again, another big tick there. I think there's a lot to be said for a Whaley presidency. And as long as they sign off on £4,000 to £5,000 expenses a month, I'm there.
okay, if there are any agents, and Darren, UK agents, not that we don't love our Australian people, but you don't get a say in what happens at Propertymark, a bit like me and Simon. So if there are any agents out there, would you prefer the head of Propertymark to be to have an estate agency background, to actually know what it's like to be an agent on the coalface, or would you like them to be something other than that? Which I don't get that. I don't know why you would give the top job to somebody that doesn't know.
Let's take it serious. So just on that point, I can see what they were trying to do, of course. You know, it's breaking out of our own little bubble and everything else. But to explicitly rule it out seemed a little strange to me, didn't it? You do seem to have an issue with that. Would that be correct?
I think if you and I had a shoe-in for the job, so if we had somebody that we'd already earmarked, then what we'd do is we'd release a press release saying, look, we're looking for somebody to fill this role. And by the way, they should be a previous Instagram model or something,
Or on the other hand, it's been a great week for John Hanford. He's taken both positions. All hail John Hanford. It would be fantastic. And he lives in Leamington, so he's only got to commute to Warwick. I mean, it's written in the stars. You heard it here first. Hanford 2020.
Christian Stott, Simon Whale, please don't forget the Home Alone cameo. Career changer.
The Home Alone? I don't know what he's talking about there. I'll go with it. Okay.
It's a coded message.
Also, he does make the point about Hutch, quite rightly, on Australian bragging. That sounds so out of character. So take that, Hutch. That's that British sense of humour we still have.
I don't think you're the right person to lead Propertymark. No. And I hope they get it right, because it's an organisation that was fast falling into obscurity. However, you've got John Paul, and Zoe, who are on board, and but I just don't understand why it cannot be someone like John Paul or Zoe.
Yeah. It's the answer's looking them in the face, really, isn't it?
And really, we should be seeing a woman at the helm of Propertymark. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Well, we go on about that week in, week out, don't we? Yeah, I was going to say we like the ladies, but that just totally blew up that whole equalitarian point of view. Have
you got any news to share with us before you go and spread disease in York?
What else was there? I did see
Darren Hutchins. Good night, lads. I have fun. I have to beat the curfew here in Melbourne, otherwise I'll get pulled over and done for not with 5. Darren, what time do they really have
They've got curfew. They've got a curfew, yeah, genuinely. So there's the rules over there. They really aren't fucking around. They are that you're not allowed to travel more than 5 kilometers. You have a curfew. I think you're allowed out if like with some of the stipulations about Cummings style. If you're a member of the government or
you're allowed to check into a local hotel.
If you're spending money, you're okay to do that as well. Any of those stipulations, yeah.
I've been checking out a Novak, Lisa Novak particularly on their Facebook stuff, and they're fans of this very raw sort of video that they do. Hutchins is under house arrest, 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. So there you go. Hutchins, tell us what you think of Lisa Novak and the Novak crew.
Sorry, well, we are absolutely insane here. We've missed the big story, of course. Have you not seen that story about Australia's sexiest real estate agents? We haven't checked, have we?
I did. Is Darren on it?
Well, of course he's not on it, not unless there's a big bear version. But no, it's absolutely true. It was being knocked around last week. I'm just trying to get it out.
Here we are. The words estate agent and fit are seldom, if ever, seen in the same sentence, but in Australia and via Instagram, they probably now should be. Things are getting rather steamy down under. Australian Sexiest Agents is the page that is raising temperatures and is a carefully curated catalogue of Australia's hottest real estate agents. I'm going to go on that page now. 1 second. I want to see if any of our previous guests are on there.
Thank God you said you weren't going to log off and then have a look.
Because you famously have a man crush on Matty Hayson.
Well, you've looked across the digital divide at him. You look into those warm eyes and tell me that he could take the Propertymark role. I tell you what, that'd be dead easy. Take over again by the Australians. That would be perfect. There's a lot of very good looking. I think the Kerfuffle Sexiest UK Agents is ready to happen, isn't it? Don't you think my brand could be permanently damaged like that? So again, if you're jumping on our Kerfuffle podcast page, can we start getting your votes for the top sexiest UK agents, please?
And let's bear in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that we're not just sort of horribly misogynistic or over-sexualizing people, because sexiness, as Simon and I know full well, can refer to a really nice personality, intelligence.
Not interested in that, yeah.
Or making people laugh. That's sexy.
I had a big Millie, my eldest, is not talking to me at the moment because she said she's accused me of being homophobic, and I said that's not true. Just because I said that bisexual people are a little bit greedy and sitting on the fence, and she said, "Dad, half of my friends are." She said, "You can't say that." Of course, George has jumped in on the side of evil. And so now, so all I am is being a little bit greedy here. We want the sexiest male stars, we want the sexiest female stars, and everything in between.
And of course, non-binary people as well.
Non-binary,
yeah, or however you'd like to be referred to.
Exactly, Mr. Overman, however you are describing yourself these days.
No, hang on. Should we not have a height limit on these entries?
I think it's still like on a ride, so we're getting into territory here.
Well, just you don't want underage people applying, and they generally are shorter than the rest of us.
Right, we've done a number of isms. We've done racism, sexism, heightism is a thing now. Okay, so the show's done now, isn't it? Aren't we all there? Oh yes, Matty Hayes. What's that? Darren Usher's Matty Hayes, Australia's best eyebrows. Brilliant.
Simon, will your holiday be like the 80s Radio 1 road shows and Kent David smiling?
There's something though that when he says that, there's a little bit of sadness. A little bit of, almost like he's one of those people that got rejected from getting a Jim will fix it just because he didn't choose to get to choose him.
Well, maybe since you've brought back basically sexist talent shows, can you also bring back Jim will fix it?
I want to shut up. We actually had that on the agenda, didn't we? We decided even that was a little bit too risque. We were going to do Whaley fix it. Do you not remember? Whaley's going to fix it. We were even going to have a jingle.
What, like the Jimmy Savile theme tune?
Yeah. Let's sing the theme tune. Exactly. We were going to
finger up is all you need to give your kids. No. It was Jimmy Savile's theme tune. What was it?
I thought it was
Jim will fix it for you and you and you and
I'm picking you. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
well, we can't sing that theme tune anymore because it's obviously a very sad story.
No, I'm taking it back. Do you know what I was? We've been arguing internally, David. I don't know if you've been copied in on the emails, but obviously we've got this demented need at Kerfuffle to turn everything into starting with a K. And I wanted to talk about, they talk about property tribes and trying to create your. And so I came up with the great idea of calling ourselves the Kerfuffle Clan. and, and and then there was the Kerfuffle Curious Clan, and people started pointing out the KKK might not be the greatest. The greatest, is it an acronym? Is it an acronym or is it just an abbreviation? Shit.
It's just a racist organisation, really.
Well, we're going head to head with them. So you asked who legally I want to go head to head with. I want to take on a far right organisation. So I've got rid of Tommy Lawrence. He's sodded off to Spain. I'm going to take on the clan. You heard it here first.
Are you going to have big pink pointy hats?
Oh yeah. I hadn't thought of that idea, but now
you're going to burn crosses on people's lawns. Or are you going to skip that one?
I think any actual activity or exertion isn't going to happen. So I'll ask Chris Watkins if he has that in his digital kit bag, but that'd be lovely to do.
Chris Watkins. So before I let you go on holiday, because we've been doing this for 45 minutes now, you have got no stamina. It's well known. But I just want to, we've not discussed it properly because you keep ignoring it. And for obvious reasons, we've not had Gary on the show. We've not had Michael Bruce on the show. And let's be fair.
They're lined up.
They are lined up. But frankly, there is no point having people on the show that cannot talk about where they used to work or where they're going to work, right? And that's two guys who cannot talk about purple bricks, they cannot talk about Repit, and they can't talk about booming either.
Yeah,
right?
That'd be great. We could ask them their opinions on Demon Seed.
So Michael Bruce, clearly your mum's had some.
Well done there, David.
I'm not sure he's coming on the show now. Hey. Seriously, never in the history of any sort of prop tech or property launch has anything been more vague than booming. And any of the appointments more, because it is a little bit out of left field, that whole Gary thing. And if I were to look at the
Why is that left? I think it's left field because he's left. But taking somebody who's at the core of one of the top, obviously, tech companies, it seems an obvious one, doesn't it? Wouldn't it? If you were starting in the industry tomorrow, that would be where you start, isn't it? On your recruitment headhunting.
I suppose it depends how well liked that person is in the industry, whether they're respected, whether agents like them, because if you are relying on agents to take it up, then you're going to want somebody who has previously satisfied them. So are you going to take somebody who perhaps has got they did have a really good product back in the day. I can talk about this. You legally cannot, so I'm going to ask you not to talk right now. But I am a current Repit customer, not happy. Okay, the standard of service has declined, and this is something that is being spoken about within the industry as a whole. So it's interesting timing that way, because really, sort of Gary's going from there. They've not announced any major sort of any great shakes at Repit to try and sort of overcome this. And then you've got a very vague notion of what booming's going to be. No one has an idea. Do we know when it's going to launch?
It's meant to be a matter of weeks, isn't it? I think, from my understanding, before we start getting away from that marketing spiel that Jerry was so eloquent. Oh no, we're not talking about Jerry anymore, are we?
No, we've gone off. But it's interesting. So you've obviously seen the Watkins interview.
Yeah, I did.
What did you make of that?
Well, I think he's very close, so it's hard to do it. I think it's hard to. The problem is you need to disassociate yourself with anything about Chris, because I don't think anyone can criticize Chris. He is so whiter than white. It's untrue, and he will definitely be doing all of that ages together stuff for entirely the right reason. But then you need to disassociate that, don't you? And then look at what the new bit is there. I mean, the first question I would be, asking Michael is, and he made the point, and I think by the way, I think he comes across really well on those interviews, but you can't.
Michael.
Pardon, Michael? Yeah, I thought that Michael came across really well. I think in terms, he was quite matter of fact. He didn't hide away from the fact that people are going to be very suspicious. That judge me in a year's time or whatever in terms of that, which was essentially all he could say. All I would say is, all the time at the, if you're going this way, all the time at Birchall Edwards, all the time at Purple Bricks, they've come out of it. And then a month before, a month before the start, the new business, the booming business,
he launched a charity.
That's
a great idea. I never thought of that.
We've kind of shot our bolt, as we always do, too early. But what I would be saying is, he said it would be far easier for them to remain, to have just stayed in the shadows and not done that. I'm not sure that's true, is it? If you are going to go back to the industry, you do kind of need to calm it down. So I would be saying, about that timing thing, it seems a little bit too much like a coincidence.
Well, here's a message to you, Michael Bruce, and also to Gary Barker and anyone else that's listening at Boomin'. If you so much as break your word to my friends Stephen Brown and Chris Watkins, I'll be very, very upset, and I'll be coming for you.
You don't want an angry Mincy.
I want that charity to continue doing great things. And £1 million, by the way, drop in the ocean, right? Yeah. I want more money piled into that. I want more resources. I want more being done for mental health. And don't let my friends down, because they're very, very good people. And if they get egg on their face,
yeah, he'll make mincemeat.
Listen to that.
And also, obviously, Peter Lawrence on the show here today. He's signed up for the mental side as well. So there's a lot of great people here. Stephen Brown's already jumped in. Stephen Brown just stalking us over here, taking down notes. Andy, I need you to be a bit more like Mincy. Luke. Can we have
Stephen Brown and Luke and Andy and Jerry Lyons yesterday covered the subject of what the Americans refer to as closing gifts. So it's your what do you leave a vendor with after you've given them?
Chlamydia.
I know your version of a closing gift is something that requires
demon seed.
It requires cream to be applied in liberal amounts and to be under the care of a dermatologist.
No, I didn't. I saw Jerry shared that list on his content club, obviously, which is absolutely fantastic and everything else. I believe he's only got about 5 spots left on it, so get in before the lock.
It was a good podcast, Stephen. It was one of your better ones. Oh, Simon's gone. He obviously does not like me talking about the EA podcast. No, it was very good yesterday. And it was very interesting to hear the various different cute presents that people give out on finishing a deal with somebody. Oh, here he is. He's coming back in.
I'll tell you what that was. You say the agency podcast was a good one, and it just kicked me off. I've got a qualitative filter.
That's what it is. No, it genuinely was good. So you had people like Sharon Carter, who, by the way, she has commented on a lot of our shows.
She's great. Very one of the best and engaged agents we got out there.
I've never heard of Sharon before then, and honestly, I'm very impressed. She come up with this very good idea of, I think she gives daisy seeds as a gift with a little poem, and people send in pictures of their daisies or whatever, or their sunflowers.
So we've just, again, as ever, R&D, rip off and duplicate. So Kerfuffle, we're doing opium seeds, we're doing ganja. If you're writing now, get in your new home, you can obviously grow whatever you need in the back garden. That helps you through lockdown.
Simon, that is superb. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Again, I'm giving back all the time, and that's what Kerfuffle's about.
All right. So, your holiday. Are you going camping in an actual?
No, it's a glamping thing. There's Wi-Fi. There's hope. Well, there better be Wi-Fi, otherwise you're going to see me having a breakdown. I am going to attempt to grow a kind of a lockdown beard as well. Which, given
how long are you glamping for?
Oh, just to the end of the week. Just the end of the week. So
okay.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know what the Wi-Fi is like, and maybe we can do an on a holiday lockdown.
I'd love that. That'd be so nice to be on holiday with the Whaleys.
Yeah, that's it. Well, we're not having George on, but he's still. I told you he's off. The reason he won't be able to get to you, he's off his iPad for the time being because, again, he had a little bit of a problem with in-app purchases.
Really, the same problem my son's had.
The same problem there, yes.
Interesting. And what genre is he into?
Oh no, not that one. No. It's not,
right.
Not like yours. No. He's gone mad again. He came back to me and he said, "Dad, I've been buying Fortnite. Points or whatever else, Roblox for his friends. £1,700 down the drain.
Brilliant. Well, you're going to get to know a lot more about your family this week, being on holiday with them. You never truly get to love somebody until you share a chemical toilet with them.
Yeah, or chemicals in the toilet. Anyway, so he's in full lockdown at the moment. I would say his little adorable face as he looked up at me and said, "Dad, it's not like last time. This time I admitted it, and I just, I've already warmed."
And that's a great lesson for life.
He's a politician, Trump, Johnson, Whale. It is inevitable. I am inevitable, as Iron Man and Thanos said.
Well, on that note,
perfect.
I think we're going to love you and leave you. Have a great holiday, Simon.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on my show as a guest.
Yeah, keep those tax dollars coming in, David. We need you out there doing the stellar numbers because otherwise the country's bankrupt.
Okay, I'm going to go.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye. See you all. Thank